Interesting. Well, welcome guys, as XSplit has a little bit of a fit. This is the D2CL Christmas Charity Magic, Season 7 of D2CL in fact. And, well, we've got some fun game modes for you, or at least we would have fun game modes. If the teams hadn't decided to ban them all out, we're left with Captain's Draft as the first game, Captain's Mode as the second, and Random Draft as the third. As we get into Captain's Draft, I'm also welcoming my co-caster, Heen. How are you doing, and have you ever cast a CD game before?
Hello, Durka. I haven't had much time to play modes that weren't AP or Captain's Mode. Obviously, I'll pick for ranked games and pub games, and Captain's Mode for competitive games. So I'm looking at these like list of heroes, and with the limited hero pool, I'm gonna have a hard time analyzing the draft.
It's always a little bit fun, but there's nothing out of the ordinary here. ProDota, they know exactly what they want, and they're going to get it. Wisp Chaos Knight is the initial pickup for them. Hellraisers, I kind of feel like that Ursa pick is like a block against the Wisp Ursa, but maybe it's just for the hero in general itself. Bane, a great support hero for them. And what's left in the pool? There's like Pudge. That's going to be pretty cool to see. Faceless Void, a hero that's not in Captain's Mode. I'd love to see that a little bit, but I mean, both teams, they're looking for supports. There's Witch Doctor, Shadow Shaman, Jakiro. Jakiro got a pretty big old buff in the recent patch. 7 extra base damage for his harassing.
Axe.
Yeah, as you were mentioning the hero pool, I think in these kind of limited hero pool drafts, the supports are really valued because a lot of the good supports are going to be left out, and like the cores you can pick a core according to the situation, but so obviously that's true for supports, but you obviously have some supports that are more flexible, and we already see Hellraisers secure the Witch Doctor, so it's going to be Bane, Witch Doctor, not too uncommon. That's part of the reason I think the Bane pick was picked up so early by Hellraisers, and for ProDota, they picked a Rasta, already having like a Wisp who really doesn't buy too many consumables for the team. They needed a support. The Rasta, I feel, is going to be a lot of pressure on the Rasta because this hero is kind of slow and needs quite a bit of items to fully explore its potential.
Yeah, he can definitely be bullied early on, but he offers so much lockdown against Ursa. That's going to be the great thing for him.
I was going to say with the Tidehunter and Chaos Knight, they might have some really scary early game to secure some easy towers and a lot of kills, so that the Rasa doesn't feel like he's being left out and he has like brown boots at 10 minutes.
What's left over? But I fully agree with you. I mean, supports are sort of priority number one. A lot of the time, you kind of look at the hero pool and you have to analyze, you know, the kind of synergies between heroes, but also the sort of top tier meta picks. Obviously, with a new patch, there's no real such thing as the top tier picks just yet. But Razor going to round out the draft here for ProDota, so it looks like offlane Tide, Wisp Chaos Knight together, Shadow Shaman maybe roaming around, stacking and pulling, and Razor towards the mid. And Hellraisers, they're looking for a mid of their own. Leshrac is there, could do okay against the Razor. We've seen that recently. I think LGD ran that in WCA, was Leshrac against Razor in an actual Captain's Mode game. But what else could we look at? Pudge?
Well, there aren't that many mid heroes left in the pool. I see maybe Troll, which isn't too good against the Razor. In fact, I only see Pudge, Leshrac, and
Lion? Yeah, it's like Leshrac's like the safest one. I think that's the sound pick there. So Hellraisers, Ursa, Bane, Witch Doctor, Axe, and Lesh. I just wonder, can Axe solo off lane, or do you want to run dual lanes here as Hellraisers?
I think what ProDota can do in this game is have the Wisp Tiny mid. Wisp Chaos Knight mid, if it is a solo Leshrac, because with the buff to Chaos Knight's Reality Rift, the Blink Strike, they can have some really crazy kill potential on whoever comes mid. I often found that Wisp Chaos Knight is much scarier to deal with than the Tiny, even though the Tiny with the Avalanche Toss combo might seem like it has more nuke damage. Chaos Knight starting at level 2 is extremely scary to play against when he has unlimited mana.
10 seconds
And then
remaining.
if they have like a Rasta and the Razor and the safe lane, Axe might have an extremely hard time laning against that.
Yeah, that displacement you get from that reality rift is pretty crazy, honestly. The fact that he sort of drags you out, pulls you back into somewhere. You don't get that with the tiny straight away. The toss, obviously, you throw someone back, but you have to get into position from that. You've got the range on the CK. So let's have a look. What have we got? So Sunlight starts off with Stout Shield. Vanscore, he's got a Fairy Fire over on this Wisp. So that HP burst can help out a little bit, but still not entirely sure where. I guess with the fact that Razor has gone for the Wraithband recipe and circle it, that does indicate that they're going to do what you're saying and put Razor safe lane.
Yeah, the Hellraiser's lineup already smoked as they were coming out of their base as 5, which they are anticipating some kind of move into their jungle from ProDota, I think. Or they could have just smoked so that even with like an early TP ward, they can secure a nice camping spot in the Radiant side very aggressively, as we're seeing the move into the Radiant jungle. But their smoke ran out, and
30 seconds to
yeah.
bottom.
ProDota's paying them out. They kind of like didn't pay attention to their smoke running out, and now Bane's stuck in this these trees between the tier 1 and tier 2.
What?
And if Tide runs into them,
I mean, Bane can run away. He's got boots first.
Yeah.
He should be okay.
maybe it's some next level play
What's this?
where
His team's drawing on the map like, dude, go, but he's drawing in the fountain. Why is he telling him to go here? Well, it was a good idea from ProDota, I think, checking level 1 Roche just because Ursa acts. Witch Doctor.
I think Bane wants to put a ward and possibly snipe the career, seeing as he started boots. And without the bottle, it might really affect the early game from the Wisp Chaos Knight.
The Chosen One, no. I was told that ARDM is not in the pool, but the teams banned it out, so I'm not 100% sure.
Well,
Is that in Vision?
I think it might be in Vision because the tower attack range is shorter than the true sight range.
Yeah.
And this is probably where it comes into play. The Radiant tower got pulled back, and I guess Undershock, the Bane player, kind of put the ward in the usual spot, and
It's
now
in
he's
range.
gonna be so sad.
Oh, Bane. They still don't know he's here though. I think Vanscore's going to go and check. No, he's still wandering around
Well,
waiting.
actually, Bane might. He's blind in the tree, so
Oh no.
this is a huge blunder for HR.
That's really tragic. But you're right. The fact that that tower got pulled back from like this area, back a little bit. Oh, mid lane. Look at the damage output though. Vanscore dropping really low, but the miss is uphill. He's not going to get taken out with a Fairy Fire to heal him up, and Sunlight turns around to thwack down Goddamn, but Vanscore has his bottle up. And HR, oh my god, the Leshrac. There's another Reality Rift in 5 seconds time. He throws out the stun, but it's not going to land, and it looks like CK and Wisp, they're happy to go just back to the lane, continue farming. 3 heroes from Hellraisers, though, towards mid, and now they're walking back and doing nothing.
Yeah, it looked really bad for ProDota when they tried to aggress on the Leshrac, but HR was ready for it, and then they chased, and suddenly they were in an awkward position where the Leshrac was chased out of his mid lane. He had to go all around, miss a lot of EXP.
How are we looking on the other lanes? Axe up at top, Shadowslow. He's in this 1v1 scenario up against the Tidehunter. He's actually pulled across as well. Oh god damn. Gets the kill on bottom lane, and now it's like the Ursa just running himself back as quickly as he can.
Yeah, Ursa is really good against Razor throughout the game because he doesn't have any spells that
Oh, they're killing mid.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw that Chaos Strike, and now maybe they can turn around onto the Alpha Ninja. He's got another Lightning Storm. He throws it here. It's going to do a nice amount of chip damage, but Sunlight could turn and fight this, actually. With Reality Rift up again, the TP is coming in from Bane, so should be able to deter any more aggression. But Chaos Knight Wisp, like you said, straight in there with the damage.
Yeah, it's a super scary duo to play against that mid. There isn't much of a downtime, and Chaos Knight, with his incredible movement speed, he has 370 movement speed while without boots if the Wisp tethers him. So that, like, he really, it feels like he has a free boots in the early game.
They're going in again. They're doing some good damage back to this Leshrac, honestly. He's burning through salves. Bottle's still not coming out for him. The Bane has to sit here mid. And you look up at top lane, Tidehunter is 3-1. Tron can't get close to the creep wave. Shadowslow just forcing him back little by little. The level 2 counter helix. This Tidehunter's not having a good time at all.
This play is very nice by Satchel. It used to be like only the dire side safe lane has these big camps that you can connect easily to the camp, and given Axe's like the nature of him being able to tank creep wave after creep wave, he's gonna push these waves, and then when Tidehunter is CSing on the tower, he can pull the next wave into these big creeps, and basically he has perfect deny on those creeps. And before the change, I guess after the changes, Radiant safe lane Axe can do this play too, but he's fully utilizing this kind of matchup. It's kind of unique to Axe in a way. And in the bottom, the Razor. I'm not sure how he died, because I think after the first time, if both the Ursa and Razor has boots, Razor shouldn't die to the Ursa.
It was just the fact that Shadow Shaman was too far away. They threw the cask out. They even missed the Earth Shock. The Ursa didn't get his slow out. The damage output from the Ursa is just too ridiculously good against Jackal. It might be also that Jackal, plays aggressively with a static link, and then when Ursa disengages and re-engages, there's no link to stop that, push forward with the damage. That lane down a bot for HR. Lane up at top is also working out well. And look at Shadflow. Pulling across, he's just in the middle of like 3 creep waves. There's neutral creeps, there's dire radiant creeps, everything. All around this Axe, allowing him to spin. Now mid lane, we did see another kill for this Chaos Knight, 1-0-1.
He might try to real. Oh yeah,
it doesn't get him up.
I think he was, yeah, he's trying to get him killed.
Still going to get this kill though. With a Nightmare back to Sunlight, Wisp should take this off, yeah, and Chaos Knight just keeps on going. Going to take a couple of hits, but the bottle through from Alpha Ninja will keep the Bane alive for now. And Sunlight. The thing is, this Chaos Knight Wisp combination, they're still full HP, full mana basically.
Yeah, I like this style of play of the Wisp the most. The one that constantly puts aggression with the good sustain, instead of like, there's some styles where you go back to the jungle and stack, and you pick the Wisp for the ability to farm. I guess with the changes to the neutral creeps where they have their tankier, and like obviously Chaos Knight doesn't need stacks in the jungle, you can't clear it.
Oh, Jackal. Even with a static link, you're not going to save yourself from this Ursa's damage. The Fury Swipe's coming through. And Witch Doctor just needed that one stun, doesn't even need the bounce. I just saw the weirdest thing happen though. I don't know who pulled it across, but the little potato, the yellow hellbear, it came across and it was pulled into lane. To the right. But instead of following the same path back and going into the camp, it went all the way around the river and then came up back like this. And it's the weirdest pathing I've ever seen. Razor's actually moved up the top, and Axe is going to get his damage drained, but he's still quick on his feet with the tranquil boots, running himself away. Meanwhile, mid lane, yeah, you're right, Leshrac does die. I thought the Axe maybe was in a little more trouble up there, but Tron didn't have mana for Gush.
Over at bottom, the Ursa found the Rasa in the tower.
Oh my god, it's action every lane! This Ursa's hexed up. Metrum, I don't know, he looks like he's in a ton of danger as he's now stunned up. YW.
Consider yourself lucky.
I'll actually take him down in the end.
Much worse.
Poor Rasa. I play a lot of Rasa, and he doesn't really have spells that, defensive spells, because Hex is kind of inefficient at lower levels, and Shackle is the stun for me as well as the stun for the other guy. And with Ursa having the phase boots, Rasa has to play extremely careful. That's why I was a bit worried when Razor started getting killed. If Razor was having a good game, he could have, at mid again.
Yep. They've got the 4-second stun. And that poor little Bane. So Wisp, Vanscore, he's on a killing spree. 3-0-1. Bottle boots and still has that Fairy Fire up on him. Now to get, that Sentry. Getting rid of the high ground ward, the low ground Sentry. But Alpha Ninja, the Lightning Storm, he heals himself up with the Fairy Fire, and now he gets the ward and gets himself away as well. There might be another right click attack coming out. Nope. Leshrac not going to be in range. Meanwhile, down at bottom lane, they've moved the Tide down to the safe lane. I mean, he's not going to have a better time against Ursa Witch Doctor, honestly. He's level 5. Maybe if he can hit level 6, the Ravage will save him. But up at top, Shatswoke, here we go. This is going to be a nice amount of damage back to him, but he's still surviving through it all. The final damage out from that plasma field, though.
At bottom again?
The shock. Oh my god, thanks, Heen. Yes, no more T-Tours. We see the kill on the Tide. Oh my goodness. The Reality Rift back onto General, not General, Ivan. will turn back, fight Sunlight, and now he has to run! He's going to run and hide, the Voodoo Restoration keeping him alive. Ursa just keeps chunking him down, but the Wisp comes in and saves the CK. And now they've got the mana and the damage to get the return kill onto Witch Doctor. Okay. Okay.
Is there anything else going on in the map? I think we're in the clear for now.
It's 8 minutes in. 8 minutes in. But that's a massive amount of gold, honestly. The CK Wisp are getting really big. Really, really big. They haven't died yet. They've got Urn Bottle. They've got Tread's Bracer going into the drums, I guess. They just need to catch up a little bit on the Razor, because he's the big weak link here right now.
Well, I think what's happening is the Ursa was having a good game, and so was the CK Wisp. And now it's kind of like we saw just now that the Ursa was bullying ProDota on the Radiant safe lane, and CK was like, okay, we're gonna put a stop to your rampage.
Oh, they got vision.
Yvonne's
dead. Look at that damage output. Yeah, you're right. Not only do they put a stop to it, but they stamp their face into the curb and say, no more. No more, we're done with this nonsense. Sunlight's chasing, hunting down the Witch Doctor. Look at him diving behind tier 2 almost here, but there's no further vision. With the TP from the Bane coming in, maybe they want to try and fight this. Witch Doctor's Cask is pretty good against this Wisp combo. Not going to bounce, though, as they get themselves out of range. And now they tether back into reality. Rip, stun downs, undershot. Oh, Hellraisers. This is CIS Dota at its finest. Kill after kill.
Yeah, I think when they started diving the tier 2s, the Bane TP'd in, and ProDota kind of decided, okay, this is maybe a bit unsafe, but Hellraiser supports kind of, they were, when they saw ProDota backing out, they got the wrong idea. They weren't backing out because they were scared. It's just because they didn't want to throw the game in such a, like, it's only 9 minutes in. They don't want to start something in between the tier 1s and tier 2s. And then Bane kind of chased way too aggressively, and Chaos Knight kind of turned around thinking, hey, what are you doing, man? And we saw, like, the Bane just die in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's one of those things where ProDota were sort of weighing the risk-reward, and they realized it's a Witch Doctor. It's not worth losing maybe the Chaos Knight here. So it's backing up, and then Hellraisers, like you said, got a little bit overzealous in trying to defend, even though it's 2 supports turning themselves around. And now Tron. This Tidehunter who got Shrek'd in lane, he's not far behind the Axe. He has Arcane's Bottle. He's level 7. And Axe, he's getting close to his Blink Dagger, so there's going to be that tipping point there. When he gets his Blink, he'll definitely have a little more impact than the Tidehunter does. But utilizing it's going to be the tricky part. Because Leshrac doesn't have the itemization or damage output just yet. Doesn't have the levels to go running around and roaming with the Axe. It's going to be like Axe Witch Doctor Ursa, maybe with the Bane, and go looking for these kills.
Yeah, going into the mid game out of the laning phase, I prefer ProDota's lineup. Rasta has been pretty quiet except for that one death in his tower against Ursa, but nonetheless, he got level 6 through pulling these newly arranged Radiant creeps constantly. And with Tidehunter, he doesn't need a blink at this stage of the game. I think what I can see happening is the Rasta and Razor will run at towers, put down the Serpent Wards, and Tidehunter will show up sort of as an insurance policy that, you know, Hellraisers don't really try to put a stop to it, and they're forced to give away free towers, because without the blink on Ursa and the Axe, I don't think Hellraisers are going to have an easy time stopping these pushes.
Yeah, they just do exactly like you said. They go to a tower, put Tidehunter at the front, say, come at me. Come and fight into Ravage. Let's see if you can actually do it. Shachlo is, taking down Creep Wave. Tier 1 will drop in the end. It's a pretty simple takedown. It's not just that. It's the fact that Hellraisers were prepping for a fight at bottom lane. Let damage get done to the mid tier 1.
Well, bottom lane, bottom rune. Just a annoying sleep.
I mean, Sunlight's coming in.
CK.
He definitely wants to fight this. He's going to run up onto high ground. They know where Godam is, and they see Undershock. The stun comes out onto Witch Doctor, and Metrum has the Hex Shackle. Undershock should die here. Even with the brain stat back, he's just delaying the inevitable. And Hellraisers, it's 11-5 for PD. They're going to take tier 1 after tier 1. The mid should drop right now, and they still have Ravage. It's just the threat. It's like that black hole, right, with the Enigma. It's not exactly. It's not the actual spell itself. It's the threat of what it can do to you.
And this was exactly what I was talking about coming out of the laning phase, that Hellraisers had 2 heroes, Ursa and the Axe, who really need that Blink Dagger to make something happen. Whereas ProDota, they don't really need they just need level 6 and 7 on a few heroes. And we could see that the Ursa and Axe have been pretty quiet until now. That's why these towers were killed and their supports were caught out, basically, because they were roaming around without the full backup of their cores. But at least the Axe is pretty much has a Blink Dagger now. And Ursa kind of far away. He might go for the Death Mask and go for the early Roche, possibly. But I don't think ProDota is going to give them the time.
Oh, relocate, the good stun from Lashback though, catches Sunlight and Vanskull, they're going to take down the Vanskull. Wisp they do, and they've got the Fiend's Grip onto Sunlight. Great play by Alpha Ninja's Lashback there, perfect timing. And they get the 2 massive kills. Absolutely massive kills there, which ProDota just gave to them. So that's a 2,000 gold swing to Hellraisers.
And HR, they smoked immediately after that kill. They put a sentry to make sure they weren't being watched, and they realize that they're quite far behind in this game, and they need more.
What are they going to find, though? They're hunting,
well,
they're looking.
I think they might run into the Axe. He's going into the jungle by himself. I'm not sure, because...
Oh, the TP's coming in as well from the Chaos Knight. Shachlo, he has Blink Dagger, but it's cancelled by the Gush.
Yeah,
Reality Rift not there in time. They just want to keep this Blink Dagger on cooldown for as long as they can. The Hex is there, and they'll get the stun as well. Shachlo, he cannot blink away. Rifted back into death. In the meantime, Ivan, the Ursa, does take down Roshan and picks up Aegis the Immortal. TPs himself away just in time. That was okay.
I was going to say that was really awkward by Axe because initially they smoked with the Bane and the Leshrac, but Bane Lesh kind of gave up after half the smoke duration and another relocate.
Stun again, hits both of them. Good timing by this Leshrac, but not going to save you, Witch Doctor. Hang on a second. Reality Rift. That was a little bit out of range. The Witch Doctor's down here and the Chaos Knight's like up here. Come on, miles away.
The cast on Reality Rift is sort of weird, where as long as if the CK ever raises his hand, it doesn't matter if the opponent goes out of range. It sort of just finishes.
Yeah, it's like Fiend's Grip. It's the motion buffer, I think is what they called it. Like Fiend's Grip was the big proponent of this, where people were always complaining. There were screenshots of like Fiend's Grip starting, and then the enemy going 1,000 range outside of actual cast range. But like you said, as long as the animation starts, they lift up their hands. Still cast it. Sunlight. Oh, Vic Death Ward and Shachlo going to miss the call there. This cast is still bouncing back and forth, but the sustain here from Sunlight, he's charging straight back in. He's still got Phantasm, so he's still got these illusions ready to go if they need it. Glyph.
Yeah, this is really hard to stop for Hellraisers, and mind you, the Ursa went for the Death Mask, as I suspected, and got the Aegis, but he still wants that Blink Dagger. The Aegis isn't enough to allow him to approach the ProDota heroes right now. So they conceded the bottom tier 2, which is quite unfortunate at this early into the game. And the Tidehunter has a blink, so even if Ursa gets a blink, they might be surprised that it's not just like them having blink. They're going to be surprised as well when they jump in and think they have the edge.
Up at top, the smoke wrap here onto CK Wisp. Vanscore, oh, they know he's there, but they don't know exactly where. And Sunlight, Reality Rift. Getting nightmared up for now, but there is this relocate save if he really needs it. Sunlight's getting chunked down with the Fiend's Grip there. Vanscore not in time. Did he? What? Oh, he relocated mid. Okay.
Yeah.
So he decided that saving the CK wasn't worth it. Or go for the kill, go for the trade-off. But now he's going to lose his own life, right? He tethers across to the creep wave into Ivan. Good call. Keep Vanscore held in place. Dunk him down. Not in time.
Sort of an awkward engagement. I don't think CK or the Wisp had to die there. I was... Oh, Rasta.
Yeah. I was just about to bring up the sort of net worth disparity between these supports. You look at Bane, Arcane's Urn. Okay, his net worth is 2,600. That's great. The Witch Doctor, his net worth is almost 4K. That's great. But the actual impact you get from these net worths is relatively minimal. When you look at the Shadow Shaman, he's nearly got Blink. That one item can provide so much impact. The Wisp with Ghost Scepter, just staying alive and keeping people healed up. Impact items are bigger and faster on ProDota, with a mech now completed for Razor. they've got such a tanky team that's just buffed up and kept alive through these team fights.
Yeah, with the Tidehunter having the blink, I think it's going to be really hard for Hellraiser to fight into a correctly executed push and aggression from ProDota. And part of it is because now, like, the Axe and Ursa do have the blink daggers, but they don't have the BKBs. And we used to say Tidehunter's blink timing is, it can be really fast, but sometimes you'd rather have the enemy get slower BKBs, which is important for Tidehunter's Ravage to be successful. And he does have his blink, and I don't see anyone on Hellraisers getting a BKB anytime soon. By the way, Leshrac went for the Aether Lens, which I think is I wouldn't have guessed that Leshrac is one of the better carries of that item.
I've seen this from a Leshrac before, but it was like as a second or third item. I think they went like Arcane's Ewel's into Aether Lens, and then into Blink or something like that.
Really aggressive smoke wraparound by ProDota.
Yeah, they've got Leshrac. There's no way out of this, honestly. Just try and do as much damage as you can before you die. The rest of the team.
Oh, buyback from Leshrac.
Going straight in onto Vansko, looks like here. And with the cold, they'll chop him down. Vansko's dead. There's no whisk, but with the Ravage coming through, the damage output here from Hellraisers is going to be enough for now until the Razor, with his mech, keeps people healed up a little bit more. Deathboard is good, but this Chaos Knight, where's he gone? He's ditched his Razor. Reality Rift back into stun, but it's too late. The Razor's dead. Sunlight will take down Ivan's Ursa. So that's a 5-for-4 exchange. Bane is the last one standing, but the buyback from Leshrac, that's the big kicker.
Yeah, you could see just how comfortable ProDota was just by how aggressively they're able to smoke behind the tier 2s and tier 3s at this point. That was an okay exchange for Hellraisers. I thought they might, the Leshrac buying back. At first I was confused because even if he fought back, he still is not nearly as strong as he wants to be.
Oh, relocate coming in from Vansko.
Cheeky deny by Bane.
Undershot. Gets the deny down. I see this Observer Ward from the Radiant though. Be able to go and deny that one up. Kill off the Observer Ward. Give it to the Witch Doctor. Kill it.
Is he?
He wants to kill he didn't want to miss the last hit. Efficiency at its finest from Godam. He knew he was going to get it.
The Witch Doctor is quite farmed. I'm surprised he's more than halfway there to his axe. I think they're sort of waiting, relying on the Witch Doctor to get that axe, because if you notice, they don't really have great AoE versus ProDota's lineup. Leshrac, as we've seen multiple times, is way too squishy to fully utilize his AoE capabilities. So they want that Witch Doctor. Bane? Are they going to use no relocating now? Wow, crazy range from the Chaos Knight.
Pop the drums, get the movement speed, jump yourself over. So the Witch Doctor Ags, yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's where
yeah, it's a less committal way of dealing with the Chaos Knight illusions. Obviously, even without multiple targets, the increased damage is always nice.
Shadow Shaman with Blink. We got from the Wisp now. Treads with the Ghost Scepter. Blink Tide. He's got himself an Arcane Rune as well. Reduce down that Ravage cooldown when he uses it, I guess. But Razor is still the guy that I'm looking at thinking, yeah, your item progression's okay, you've got decent levels, but mainly you're there just to sap damage away from the Ursa. If he jumps on you, you static link, you mech, you make sure you don't die. The Hellraisers, they've got a lot of damage between them. Tons of stuns. The Axe hasn't really made his mark on this game though. 2, 3, and 5 with Blink Force.
I mean, it's sort of hard for Axe to make plays right now, I think, because one of the biggest problems with Axe has always been that he's not that tanky, especially not against magic damage heavy lineup. He went for the Blink, Tranks, and Force Staff. None of these items, they provide great mobility, so if he uses these utility items right, it extends his life, but the Bane, another smoke by ProDota.
They've got Undershot. It's just Undershot dying though, it's just Bane, 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 Bane. Just keeps dying.
Yeah, poor Bane. But you can't really blame him, as we mentioned in the early game. ProDota's lineup doesn't really need blinks. They're always going to be aggressive with levels. Whereas we saw there was a timing window where HR didn't have those 2 blinks that they wanted. And that's sort of when they got ran over, the Bane especially. him being a really strong hero early on, wanted to maybe look for opportunities, but didn't quite understand that his teammates sort of wanted more time.
Well, the relocate towards mid. Bachelor has already got himself a little bit further away, and yeah, he blinks himself down to the river. Witch Doctor, what are you up to? So, yeah, 300 gold. This is going to be a 22-23 minute Aghanim Scepter on Kodam's Witch Doctor. And he's level 11 as well, so it's not just the level 1 ulti.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And the Ursa is quite close to his BKB too. He's he felt the super important need of BKB, so he's only 275 gold away from it. So maybe HR's timing will come for the first time. He'll get the BKB, and I don't think ProDota have any way of locking down a BKB Ursa. Maybe the Link, but that's not really a lockdown. One of the things I was mentioning early game was that Ursa is really good against Razor because he can jump on the Razor and Razor he'll blink, but he'll realize that he's dying way too fast for the Link to kick in.
I'm not sure what the Witch Doctor was doing over there. Was he farming Radiant jungle that deep? I mean, regardless, he's got his axe done.
Yeah, I think he was just really desperate for the axe, and I don't think he was warding over there. Just he wanted to possibly go for the creeps. And we see Tidehunter camping in the Roche bed. Roche spawn is very close. It just spawned actually. They don't want to give Ursa the second Roche. The first time Ursa gets Aegis is fine. You usually can't stop it because no hero can do Roche so early. So it's kind of like you have to guess whether Ursa is doing Roche. But they realize that now that Ursa has some items, him having an Aegis might be very hard to deal with.
I'll group themselves up mid again. Tron building into that 4-staff. And with Ursa going that BKB, we've seen a lot of Ursa builds recently just going like, you know, Morbid Mask, Blink, Phase Boots into an Abyssal Blade, a Hex, and just playing fully aggressively. But against Hex, Shackle, Ravage, Chaos Bolt, Reality Rift, you really, really need that BKB because you just want to get on a target, stick on them, and get the numbers advantage as quickly as you can. Is Bane dead? Is Bane dead again? Oh, the stun!
Oh, very nice stun.
Saves his teammate for now, but this will give the Roshan over to the Radiant. They drop the Serpent Wards, they're in the pit.
It's sort of odd that they're not contesting this. I was going to say the Witch Doctor has the Axe, so I think ProDota saw the BKB on Ursa. They might be prepared for that, but they didn't see Witch Doctor have the Axe because they killed him, and they're assuming that Witch Doctor doesn't have the Axe. So if they were to take that fight, I think Hellraisers could have team wiped ProDota just out of the sheer surprise factor of the Axe on Witch Doctor.
The sudden Aghanims. But then it's going to be difficult. You kind of have to sacrifice someone, right? Like you go and sacrifice the Leshrac for the Ravage. Oh,
or the Axe, maybe.
Or the Axe, yeah, that's right. Godam's going to get picked off in the jungle. Again, good movement from ProDota. But yeah, you have to just...
Aggressive TT on top from Razor.
Well, nothing to stun up. Nothing to stun up the Ursa. But yeah, you have to... See, I don't know if it's just good enough for one hero. It depends on Tron. I mean, he's ravaging the Axe alone right there. Free kill. If you throw out the Ravage. Chatslow just, you know, baiting it out, TPing under his nose.
I'm not sure if baiting it out is the right word here. I'm sure Tidehunter was more than happy to use that Ravage to secure another kill. I feel like as though Hellraisers, they're missing out on their timing. Sure, ProDota has a lot of items and they're really strong as a 5-man, but as soon as the Ursa had the BKB Link combo and the Witch Doctor had the Axe, they could have taken a fight if they did it smart. There's obviously waiting on something or they don't feel comfortable yet. The Leshrac I think will be sort of a non-factor this game. He went for that Aether Lens and he has a Ghost Scepter. So these items already tell you about the state of his mind. He's really scared from getting bursted down by the Chaos Knight, and he wants to stay far and not play too greedy.
And he went back for treads. I think that's usually like a big indication of where your Leshrac game is going. Because usually, you know, you get like arcane boots, brown boots into arcane boots, and then you transition into bloodstone, boots of travel, stuff like
Another
that.
relocate maybe? No.
It's
they
just
don't need it.
it's just the walk into death. What's Bane's score? 1-7 and 4. It's not that bad. They'll really cut up the top though. Goddamn, Death Ward is dropped. They know there's no Ravage, but there is a Reality Rift. Throws him back. The Death Ward just isn't doing enough. Oh, yes it is. Tide dies. Vanskor has the Ghost Scepter up. He's going to try and heal himself, but in comes Shachlo. Dunks him down, and with a call, they've got Sunlight trapped in the group of heroes all surrounding him. Apple Ninja.
BKB, I think he's dead for sure.
Yeah, there's another stun coming out of Apple Ninja in a second. And with a call from Axe, they'll secure that one. Hellraisers, that Death Ward. Witch Doctor just lasted too long.
They may have not even known that the Witch Doctor had Axe until they went on him
Dire's
just
middle
there.
tower is under
Because
attack.
they've been dodging fights for so long. But very nice response from Hellraisers. It was much needed from them. You can't afford to get ran over all like this when your lineup is supposed to come together at some point, and I don't think Hellraisers drafted this lineup to play defensively. These heroes are meant to be played very aggressively. But maybe they'll have found the confidence to make some plays into the Radiant jungle, perhaps, after those engagements.
Shachlo BKB. Gonna try and get some more warding down. This is something that, you know, Hellraisers have done a good job with. They've got wards all across the map. It's just actually utilizing that vision and getting across the river. That's been the difficult part. With Relocate, with all this mobility from ProDota, it's been hard to get this Ursa into positions where he can just, you know, sit on a target and do damage.
Yeah, Ursa has a basher now, so he is very strong right now. I think he's gonna choose to go for the Razor. I mean, or the supports, but Wisp does have that Ghost Scepter. So does Rasa, in fact, so he'll have to probably go on the Razor. Because CK is going to use the ult, and Tidehunter, he has enough mobility, and after Ravage, you don't really... The Razor, it's Fiend Grip.
Link up, the Force Staff is there with a Ravage onto a bunch of them. Shachlo, he's here, but he's being chunked down by this Chaos Knight. They'll get the Death Ward out, but is it going to be enough damage? Tron is getting burst down, and Jackal will drop on the back end. This Death Ward from Witch Doctor cruises through them all, but Sunlight equally has a ton of damage. But Vanskor, oh Vanskor, you left your CK behind. Shadow Shaman gets a kill on. Is that Soul? Was that a 1v1? Was that just Leshrac against Shadow Shaman?
He might have been ward trapped by the Rasta.
Where,
I'm not sure.
where are these wards? Oh, they're chasing them actually. They're chasing Shachlo. It's Wisp Shadow Shaman. What's going on? The buyback out from Chaos Knight. I want to get back into this. Shachlo blink away with the Ursa as well. It's time to retreat and dodge this fight. Make the Chaos Knight. He's got no mana. He's got no mana. Oh, he's got the Shackle. The Shackle's up. Shachlo, second time in a row. He tries to TP under their noses. He forces himself up onto the high ground, but he can't blink. There's no time. Just being hit by the orbs and the right-click attacks from Metrum's Rasta. CK's buyback, though, not entirely worth it.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, it
is
was
under
more of
attack.
a... I don't know. I think he should have realized that the Wisp and Rasta, they didn't have to go in the first place. And him buying back, it's kind of far-fetched for him to buy back and run down those two heroes, Axe and Ursa. But not the biggest deal. It's quite early into the game that the timers aren't gonna lose him the game. But what a chaotic series of events. I think when Bane first gripped the Razor, his teammates weren't there in time because the Razor was gripped, but there wasn't any damage being done to him. So the Tide got a good Ravage off, and you know, fights happened. I'd like to see a more organized fight next time, though. Just purely out of curiosity, how these two lineups match up against each other.
I want to see a captain's mode game between them as well. Get some.
The Witch Doctor, he got the Aether Lens, so he has a super long Witch Doctor ult and the cask.
And Maledict if he gets that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, look at the range on that Maledict. It's insane.
Another smoke. I feel like there's an infinite amount of smokes this game. CK's gonna run into someone. He knows there's a smoke source.
Guess who it is? Guess who dies first? The Death Ward's placed with the Ravage back out. There's BKBs up though from Hellraisers. They lose the Bane with this Reality Rift and that Phantasm coming out of Sunlight that's gonna right-click down Ivan. Ursa's gone and Alpha Ninja, like you said, relatively non-factor here As he's got no mana and no damage left, with a blink forward from Tron and Chatlo being stunned up and shocked down. ProDota, this Chaos Knight's too big. The Wisp is just keeping him alive longer and longer. And even with the Death Ward, it looked like, honestly, it looks amazing. It looks great, but it just doesn't do enough damage with the rest of his team.
I think the problem is that Witch Doctor's ult, it can last up to 8 seconds, but no one on the team can last more than 2 or 3 seconds against this Chaos Knight. He's gonna ult, and oftentimes his 4-second stun isn't even needed. He can do a 4-second stun, but he's gonna kill the guy in 1 or 2 seconds. So the Witch Doctor obviously doesn't want to stay in one position for so long when his teammates are dropping that fast. So it's unfortunate that they can't have the correct frontliner make the space for Witch Doctor's ult like that.
Well, Ursa, I guess Abyssal's gonna be the dream here. Get Abyssal, stun Sunlight, focus him down. But again, you can see it in these team fights. You know, you're talking about the sort of organization, and you know, target priority is such a key thing in fights like these as well, especially. When Ursa is up against how many heroes have Ghost Scepter now? 2? 3? Tide doesn't have one. It's just the 2. No, Razor has one.
Yeah.
So Razor.
Oh, Razor has one. That's really weird. So I mean, we were talking about how the Ursa almost has to jump on the Razor because the 2 supports on ProDota have the Ghost Scepters. Tidehunter is way too. He's tanky enough, and he has the 2 mobility items, Force Snap and Blink. And CK is going to use that ult. So Razor kind of realized that, oh, I'm like the tastiest looking guy to jump on for Ursa. So usually heroes don't build both BKB and Ghost Scepter because you can't turn on the Ghost Scepter while you're BKB'd. So Razor's in a really awkward spot right now. But no big deal. That means like his teammates are going to do their jobs properly because all Razor has to do is to mind the fact that he doesn't have to get bursted down by the Ursa.
Oh, the Death Ward.
I think. Yeah, Ursa was kind of eyeing the Rasta. Roche is already up. It's a cheese this time. I don't think Hellraisers should give the Roche away so easily this time.
It's that kind of moment where the safe play is to sit back, wait for ProDota to come to your base and defend high ground, but the game-winning play is to go and contest Roshan right here. It's down to half health.
Oh, this Witch Doctor, I think with the Aether Lens, he can plant the Death Ward from
into
above
the
the
pit.
into the Potion, yeah.
Let's see, the BKBs are popped and in they jump. It's up on the high ground, bouncing back and forth. The Nightmares on the Tron. He's actually kept away from the Ravage, and now they blink in with Charge Slow. BKB's just in time, but Ivan's already dead. Roshan's down, and Chaos Knight takes the Aegis of the Immortal. Cheese goes to someone, not exactly sure who, but Leshrak's dead. Down and out, and Bane over on the side. He'll die as well. Who got the cheese? Okay, Ursa got the cheese, but he didn't get a chance to use it.
Oh, I think to be fair, even if he uses it, he's gonna die again. So accept your death. Realize that the team fight has gone terribly wrong, and maybe when you revive, you have that cheese for a proper use. But I'm not sure if the Hellraisers are going to have that next opportunity. This lineup on ProDota is very good at taking racks, even without the roster wards.
Is this
CK has he has 320 damage right now.
He's got 3,000 health.
Yeah.
3,000 health. And this is without a heart. This is without a Satanic or something. This is BKB Armlet, Halberd, Drum, Strength Treads. Well, they're not going to go for a second lane of racks here. Goddamn will TP himself away. I guess he wants to get that level 16 as quickly as he possibly can. It's not going to be easy. Aghanim's up on your Shadow Shaman now. That Rasta with his Serpent Wards. He's 100 experience from level 6 himself. The Blink Ags Rasta is going to be penetrating these tier 3s.
Also, one thing we didn't really talk about is the Rasta's Hex in relationship to Tidehunter. What's really cool about Tidehunter and Rasta together is that Rasta's Hex is instant. You can't BKB react to it. So it ensures a really good Ravage, at least on an important target. So I think that's part of the reason why Hellraisers isn't feeling too comfortable, because even though they have how many BKBs? Maybe 3 BKBs. They can't dodge the Hex initiation from Rasta. If it were some other kind of support like like a witch doctor. If the witch doctor won ProDota, they're gonna walk around
Just
knowing that
what
they
that
can
Dota
dodge any kind of
ordered.
initiation on them. But the Rasa's blink hex factor, the instant hex means that they have to be really on their toes from Hellraiser. So
You could see it. You could see it from the Bane. He ran straight to the Tide, nightmared him up, and they were like, right, forget the Tide Hunter, just leave him asleep, let him have his nightmare, and try and focus everyone else. But that's like dream situation from Hellraisers. If they can nightmare the Tide and ignore him and not have the Ravage for the first 4 or 5 seconds, that's perfect. If there's a Ravage coming out instantly in a team fight, they don't get the luxury to time their BKBs with anything. Like you said, even with that Hex in addition. ProDota, it's time to go and push high ground. Aegis is still up on this Chaos Knight for another 2 minutes. 2 minutes they've got. And this should be another lane of racks. I don't see Hellraisers defending this very easily.
neither do I. It seems ProDota are very confident. They're not even like sidestepping or anything. They're just going in a straight line.
Tron.
Rasa is even holding on to his board, possibly to take the third set of racks or roam.
Or tier 4s, yeah, tier 4s, that's what they're pinging it. They are pinging tier 4s. I'll blink Hex.
Oh, there we go, the Ursa.
To Ivan. Nightmare to try and save him, and blinks that big call from Chachlo, but the damage is not here. Tron is holding on to this Ravage. He throws it out at the last second, but Ivan, he's still in the mix. He's 1 versus 5 in the middle of them all. The Death Ward tickling, just tickling ProDota as they run forward into it, past the Death Ward onto the Witch Doctor. Say goodnight, say GG. Hellraisers tap out, and ProDota take game number 1.
Yeah, what a slaughter in that last fight, but you can't really blame Hellraisers for the execution at that point. They could have maybe made some smoother transitions into the mid game, but they were far behind, and ProDota was very well aware of that fact and kind of ran them over as they should.
Laning phase, laning phase, there were 2 1 lanes I feel from Hellraisers, top and bot. The Ursa Witch Doctor, then the Axe against Tide. Mid lane though, it's just a CK Wisp show, on and
But
on and
we
on.
talked about this being the captain's draft. There weren't any mid laners available by the end of the draft, so in a way, Hellraisers were forced into pick that Leshrac.
Yeah.
They didn't really pick Leshrac thinking, oh, I'm gonna kill all those Chaos Knight illusions. They just looked around and they don't want to put a Lion mid or
What's left?
anti-mage mid. They were like, oh, I guess it's for Leshrac. And Leshrac does not do very well when there are these gap closers like Chaos Knight, and no matter what items you get, you're gonna die to physical damage or magical damage.
Yeah, blinks and relocates and all sorts of nonsense. Well, game number 1, ProDota take it. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with game number 2, which will be Captain's Mode after this Captain's Draft game. And if we go to a third, random draft. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, short break. We'll be back with game 2 in a little while.
You think that using her would get to me, and if you're right then you're in trouble, D, 'cause I won't break no